Today's lesson isn't just about seeing clearly, it's about reclaiming authority over the narrative you lead with. Because whether you realize it or not, you are living a story. And that story, the one running quietly in the background, is shaping your decisions, your doubts, and your ability. The good news? You can rewrite it, and you don't need permission to begin. Let's begin with the blind spots. Blind spots are the beliefs, behaviors, and biases that others can see, but we can't. They're often the result of what psychologist Carol Dweck calls fixed narratives. Stories we learned early and repeated often. Stories like, I'm not good with conflict. People like me don't belong in the C-suite. I'm better behind the scenes. Those aren't reflections of who you are. They're reflections of what you've survived. For women, these belief loops are often inherited through a long lineage of needing to shrink, silence, or shape-shift in order to be accepted. In a system where leadership still leans male and white, women, especially women of color, are often written into roles they didn't author. You may have been rewarded for being agreeable, but penalized for being assertive. You may have learned to doubt your instincts to avoid being called too emotional, or been taught to play down your strengths to protect others' comfort. These messages, repeated over time, become internalized scripts, and the longer we play them, the more they sound like truth. But here's the key shift. A blind spot doesn't mean you're broken. It means you've outgrown an old story. So how do you rewrite that story? We don't start with spin. We start with truth and with your values and strengths. Step 1, go back to your core. Recall lesson 3 and 4. Your values are what matters most to you. Your strengths are what sets you apart. Ask yourself, where in my current story am I disconnected from those? What value have I been hiding to fit in? Which strength have I been dimming to avoid judgment? Your new story doesn't need to be invented, it needs to be remembered. Step 2, name the old script. Write down the core limiting belief. Example, I'm not strategic, I'm just good at execution. Then challenge it. Ask, whose definition of strategic am I using? What evidence do I have that proves otherwise? Step 3, draft a power reframe. Use this structure. The old story said I had to. The real story is that I lead best when I honor my values of, list your values, and use my strength in, identify strengths. This is not positive thinking. This is neural rewiring. In psychology, it's called cognitive reframing, and it's one of the most effective tools for behavior change. Writing it is one thing, but living it, that's where the work deepens. Living your new story means making decisions from your values, not your fear. Speaking from your strengths, even when they challenge the room. Not apologizing for the space you take up or the story you now choose to tell. Your new story doesn't have to be loud, but it must be true. Because when your story aligns with your values, you stop performing leadership and start living it. You are not a character in someone else's narrative. You are the author. And this is your next chapter. Let go of the story that kept you safe. Write the one that sets you free.